I'm about to curse my relationship. Well, I hope not, but I am about to knit him a shirt, which is not a sweater. So maybe I'll have a pass. Let's do it. So yeah, after 26 years of roaming this earth, I finally got myself a boyfriend. And ever since we started dating, there has been one thing in my mind. What will I make for this man who I love? And more importantly, if I knit him something, will it be the end? If you don't know what I'm talking about, when you start knitting, you will learn about the boyfriend sweater curse, or the knitting sweater boyfriend curse. The curse of knitting your boyfriend or significant other a sweater. The curse is basically, if you knit someone you love a sweater, the relationship is doomed and you break up. I really hope it's not true because I'm very much in love, but I really do want to knit him a shirt. I am knitting on my knitting machine, and I'm not knitting a sweater, I'm knitting a shirt. So maybe I have a pass. Anyway, let me tell you about my idea, my project, what we'll be doing today. So I've been thinking for a long time of what kind of something I want to make for my boyfriend. To be honest, this will not be the first thing I make for him. I made him a sailor slipper, but the only reason I made one for him was because I wanted to compare the original sailor slippers with the version that I altered. I needed a test subject and I didn't need 2 slippers, so I made one for him. So that doesn't count. So when thinking about something to do for him, I was thinking about his hobbies, the things he likes, and I'm quite literal when I think about design. I like to do prints, I like to do intarsia, which is when you draw on the knit. So first I thought, oh, maybe I should make his late cat into a sweater. I mentioned that to him and he was like, yeah, I'll probably like that, but like my sister will love that more. So I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. So no cat. And then I asked him, what would you like me to, print? And he mentioned leaves. He was like, oh, I would love some like foliage, like nature stuff. I was like, okay. And then he mentioned one of my swatches that he likes a lot, which is that one way up there. Way up there. And I actually have a few versions of that. I have one there, one here. And once he mentioned that to me, I felt annoyed because I wanted to have had that idea. That is the perfect textile to make something for him given by me. Let me explain. Basically, this wavy textile reminisces waves, right? So like water. And that is very symbolic of the way that we met. We met in the most beautiful place on earth. We went to Lençóis Maranhenses in the north of Brazil. And to go there and do like a trekking and like really go into nature and look at the beautiful, beautiful scenarios, you have to book in with a tourist agency. You can't just go there because it's a protected area. So you have to have the locals take you there. Also, it's a desert, so if you don't go guided by someone, you will get lost. We accidentally booked the same agency and we were in the same group doing a trekking for like 6 days. And that's how we met. And yeah, I will never not brag about the fact that in the 21st century, I met the love of my life organically in one of the most beautiful places on earth. Yes, I'm very smug about that because that's very nice. This is a flooded desert. The scenes, the nature, the whole place, they all have this wavy motif. It's all desert and water, desert and lakes and sky. That's all you see for like kilometers and kilometers. And if I choose the right colors of yarn and make a shirt with that wavy textile, that's basically symbolizing the place that we met in a textile, in a shirt, in a wearable piece of art, in my opinion. So I got actually a little bit upset that I didn't think about that, and he had to think about it. So yesterday I worked on the pattern for a long time. I really do want to be as precise as possible with the pattern because it's a more complex pattern. The front part has like the placket and the collar. Also the sleeves should match very well to the armholes. So I took my time with the pattern. This is one of his favorite shirts. I think it's his favorite shirt. He just recently acquired it. I used it to measure the measurements. I also used a shirt pattern that I got online. I just typed free shirt pattern. I was comparing the actual pattern with his shirt and translated the drawn pattern, like the graph, to the stitches that I want to do. This is a little bit more complicated of a pattern just because the textile is three-dimensional, so there's a lot of raising stitches, so that warps the normal way of calculating a pattern. So I hope I did it right. I actually even made a grid for the sleeve because sleeves are always my nemesis. I never get them quite right. I did see a video recently on Instagram, I think by Knit Academy. I think there's something like that. The host, she talks about the fact that we don't actually need change the sleeve hole from the front to the back because I learned pattern making flat. I have always done the back and the front differently. So I'm testing that out. I did the same pattern for the front and the back and the sleeve. I only changed the neckline. And then I did a grid for my calculations and I just drew the sleeve based on the grid because I was having a hard time understanding the sleeve with this technique. I do my grid in Illustrator. It's just the way that I do it. I know that a lot of people use Stitch Fiddle. I just never got around to it, but I know it's a very good pattern making, like grid making software. This is my pattern. Here we have the front and then the back is the same thing, but I'll just change the neckline. And this is the sleeve. And then once that's done, I will work on the placket and the collar. Yeah, I'm actually very excited. So let's do it. Just one more thing. I didn't mention if you've been here, you know that I have a track record of being horrible with time management and giving myself the little amount of time possible to make anything. And I would love to say that this is not the case here because we're just dating, so it doesn't really matter when I finish this as long as I give it to him. But he will be traveling for work to spend 3 months in the United States. So I won't be seeing him physically for 3 months, and he travels on Saturday. It's Wednesday today. Guys, I forgot to talk about the yarn. So this is just a cotton yarn that I usually use for my designs. It's Cleia Duplo, if you're Brazilian. It's a Brazilian brand. These are the colors that I have. Now, do I only have one of each? Yes. I do hope that this is enough for a whole shirt. I can go back to the store to get more yarn if this is not enough. I might have thrown away the labels. But I didn't buy this long ago. So probably if I go to the store and just look through the yarn, they'll probably have this. I want to make like a gradient. Actually, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a gradient or just like random colors. This is supposed to look like the lagoon. And the water has shades of blue and green. When I went to the store, this is like the best that I could do. They didn't have infinite color options. I wanted like something more greenish, you know, like a very turquoisey vibe, and I couldn't find that. So I went for the blues, and I do have this mint green. The water does go this color. Like I was looking back at some photos, and there are some parts of the water that are very like minty green. So I thought about doing a gradient, so green, blue, blue, dark blue, and then using this sand color for the like base. So this is what's going to separate every wave. I did draw out a few versions of the design to kind of try and understand what was my idea with the color setup, because obviously if you look at the lagoon, the colors are all over the place. It is a gradient if you look like from the shore to the inside. It does go from light to dark, but in a sense, because of the way that the light shines and like the different parts of the lagoon, the colors do go a little bit random. It's not just a gradient. So it was a little bit on the fence, like should I do a gradient? If I do a gradient, am I doing light to dark or dark to light? Or should I do random? I put up a poll online on Instagram and on YouTube. I think the winning one is the one that goes from light to dark. It is a gradient, but it's not a harsh gradient. I don't go like from this to this straight away. I go from this to this, but right at the end, like right when I'm going to change the colors, I do one of each. So for example, I'm doing a lot of green, and then when I'm about to change to the blue, I do one blue, one green, and then change to the blues. I feel like that's a less harsh color change since these are not like so subtle. Like the gradient is not so subtle. So I feel like that's gonna be good. I'm still a little bit on the fence, and I need to decide this now if I should do light to dark or dark to light. I feel like my inclination is to do light to dark just because what I'm doing first, like I start from the bottom up, and when you get to the lagoon, you start from the shore inwards, and the shore is lighter and the inside is darker. So we're starting with the sand color to symbolize all the sand, and then we are doing 10 rows of the green, 1 light blue, 1 green, 10 light blues, so on. 1 darker blue, 1 light blue, 10 darker blues, just like that. We have a total of 47-ish rows of the motif. So in total is like 568 rows. So I better get it going because that's gonna take me a long time. Did I mention that we're using pretty much a whole machine for all of the panels? Yeah, he's a big boy. Let's go. He's not that big. I don't know why I said it like that. It's just bigger than me. And I use almost a whole machine for everything that I make for myself. So imagine for him. Anyway, let's go. That was 1 row out of 47. Took me around 10 minutes. So let's see. Update. This is 124 rows, 10 waves. And now I will start changing colors. This was around an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half of knitting. So I'm pretty confident. I don't know if I should say this early on, but I feel like I will maybe be able to finish this before he leaves. My intention is to finish the front and the back today. And so like if I do this, I will be, fine. I did just get back from the store. I originally did think that one skein of each color would be enough since it's like a lot of color changing, but I hadn't considered like how big the panels are. I hope I'm not making it like huge, way bigger than it needs to be, but I did this based on his shirt, and his shirt is quite big. This is the shirt in mind. Of course it looks a lot smaller, but remember this shrinks out of the machine. So let's hope I'm not making it ginormous. Based on this is like the first fourth of the shirt possibly. It's pretty hollow in the inside. So I do think that by the second like big panel, the back panel, I will be pretty much done with this, which means that I'll probably won't have enough in just one skein. I don't think I'll use 2 full skeins of each color, but I'll need a little bit more than one skein. So for that reason, I went to the yarn shop and got one more of each of the blues. I already have one extra of the mint. And I got 2 more of the sand color. I'll have a little lunch break, and then I will just continue with the design. I've been listening to an audiobook. I've been really into like sci-fi. I reread Hail Mary before the movie came out, and I haven't watched it yet. I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow, hopefully. And because I was in that like sci-fi mood, not sci-fi, yeah, sci-fi, like science fiction. I started reading Children of Time, which is so good. At first I thought it was strange and I didn't continue it, but then I picked it back up and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm in the second book, Children of Ruin, and it's a little intense, but I've been liking it. It's been really fun. I never thought I'd be into sci-fi, but it feels like I am. So yeah, that's what I've been consuming while doing this. And yeah. I lost momentum, like big time. And now I don't know if I'm finishing it. I want to pull an all-nighter. I'm not sure I will. I always want to pull an all-nighter and then I just kind of give up. I did quite a bit. I am proud of this. We are 300 rows in total. It's like, I think 22 motifs, 22 like rows of bubbles. And I realized I have not talked about how to do this. So if you've never used a knitting machine, basically there are like 200 needles here, and this thing knits a row. It is always flat, so this side is the wrong side, and what you're not seeing is that right side. Like this is the purl side, this is the knit side. We knit flat, but it's always like stockinette, right? And this bubble, it's done by raising some stitches on a pattern. I just did 4 rows of the sand color, and now I change to the other one. So I'll put this one back here, and I'll put the blue one in the carriage, and I will knit 8 rows. That's what I've been doing. This is why 12 is my repetition, because it's 4 of the sand color and then 8 of the blue. The machine does have a row counter, but because it changes, like I'm doing 4, 8, 4, 8, I always count myself as well when doing this. So now I will get my transfer tool. Whoop. This is a transfer tool. It's a perfect thing to hold the needles. So what I do, I start here and I go every 4 needles, I bring up 2. take into consideration the one below. So for this one, I pulled up these ones. So for this one, I'm pulling these middle ones here. So it does the wave effect. So from here on the sand one, I pick these 2 stitches like this and put them on the corresponding needles like this. And for this one, I actually have to bring this one here. This is why I'm using the one as well. Like this. When I do the next row, I have to make sure to pull this one because it opens up because the first one. So I have to pull it quite tightly when I bring the carriage all the way there. But before we have to do this. So now I'll just keep counting like every 4 stitches. So 2, 4, and then I'll bring up these 2. In the corresponding needles. 2, 4, and then these ones. I don't know if you noticed, but you do have to give support through the back side or like the front side of the knit with the hand that you're not holding the transfer tool to be able to catch the stitches. But because the panel is so big, I cannot go from underneath. That's what I usually do when I have a little bit of knit. So I use this, I'm right-handed, so I use my right hand and I pick the work from below and use my non-dominant hand to give support to do the transfer stitching. Because this panel is so big, I've been having to use my non-dominant hand in the first half of the project and then use my dominant hand in this one. So when I'm in this part of the project, I support the work with my dominant hand, which is my right hand, and then I pick them up with my left hand, which is, I've been practicing, so it is not as time consuming as it once was, but it's a little bit more time consuming than with my right hand. So I reached half and now I change to my dominant hand and pick up, like support the work from behind here, which is a lot faster for me because now it's my dominant hand. But it's really nice to, you know, I practice enough that now I'm able to do some of like these harder tasks with my non-dominant hand. It is like weird to work with your non-dominant hand doing something so precise, but you know, practice does some amazing stuff and it's really nice to be able to do that actually. And with my finger, I do pull the stitches. So I place them on the needles and here I do a little bit of pressure to release the stitches into the needles. I could also do that with the other hand as well. Sometimes I do that when I'm working a smaller project, something like this. But because I have the hand behind the project, I use the finger to do this. It's also a little bit of practice, but you get it quite fast, especially if you're doing such a big project. You kind of have to figure out some like little things that will make your life a little easier. So this was one row, and then I very carefully bring the other needles forward. I do this because they're in this like weird position. They're not very well tensioned, the ones in the middle of the bubble. So I have to very carefully bring them forward, and carefully because sometimes they do lose the stitch because they're so loose here, like this. And now I will change the yarn to the sand one, turn it around, put it here on the back of the machine, just pull it a little bit and bring the sand one forward. Try and make sure that it's not tangled anywhere. Put it back on the feeder, this, close it, make sure to close it, and then I knit the 4 rows. Oops. Have to be careful when working with from skeins because you will have tangled yarn. 4. Check if everything's all right. And then back here, I will change the yarn again. Bring the blue forward. Take the sand one back. Put the blue here. Close it. Make sure it's not tangled behind the machine. And knit the 8 rows. And now I will do the exact same thing that I just did, but alternating the needles. On the last one, we picked up the very first one here. So now we will pick up 2 from that. So these 2, which is also the center of this bubble. Like this, and then 4, 2. And these 2 are going to be the center of this one. Follow the stitches of this row and place them. 2, 4, whoops, 2, 4. And here I'm showing you with the dominant hand, but I will have to change it now because I can't hold it here anymore. So with my dominant hand, I'll hold the work in here, like here's my finger, and it's giving support to pick up the stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and here I pick them up, follow the same stitches and place them here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Oops. In a few rows, I will start decreasing the sides for the armholes. I actually wrote the pattern in a way that I will only decrease on the sand colored rows, and I'll decrease 2 at a time because I want to decrease only in these rows, not in the middle of the colored ones where I do the transferring of stitches. And then a few rows from there, I will split the middle to create the placket and the neckline. So yeah, I'll be working on that. I will show you how the front looks in a couple of minutes. Hi guys, so as I reached the row where I determined I needed to start the placket, I used the short row function to knit one side of the front and then the other. I always choose to use a waste yarn in the side that I'm not going to be working in. When the carriage goes through the side that's not knitting for a long time without actually knitting, those rows that are in the needle, they start like fraying and getting more fragile than they're supposed to be. And then I cast off the center stitches. It was 12 total, 6 on each side, and I continue working on the wavy motif, but just in one half, being sure to decrease the sides where the armhole is gonna be. It was straight in the center for a little while, and after a few rows, I decreased from the center inwards to create the end of the neckline. Once that was done, I proceeded to knitting the other side. I will say, guys, I was very worried as I finished the front panel because it was looking a lot bigger than his shirt. So I decided to go to sleep. When I went to sleep, I pretty much gave up. I was like, it's too big, I'll have to redo the front and it's just not gonna work out. But as I woke up the next morning, it did feel like it shrunk a little bit overnight, and I just decided that I was going to make this even if it did turn out a little bit big. And for this next day on Thursday, I just knit. Like, I knit. And I think this was probably like the most productive day I've ever had on knitting. And while I'm on this voiceover, I guess I would like to talk about the boyfriend knitting a sweater curse. Obviously, I don't believe in the curse. I am very much in love and I don't want to end my relationship. I just want to give him something that I made because that's, I feel like, my love language. But when I heard about the curse and like hearing about it, the way that I interpreted it, I feel like the curse probably just comes from a general feeling of being underappreciated. You know, considering your partner knows you and spends time with you, they'll understand how long something handmade, especially something knit, you know, obviously the curse, quote unquote curse, came from hand knitting, which takes a lot longer than machine knitting. You suppose, because you guys know each other, that your partner will understand how appreciated they are because you chose to knit him something, a sweater, probably. If the reaction of receiving the sweater is not very happy and excited and emotional, and they don't wear it much, all of your work feels like it was for nothing because they're not wearing it, they didn't seem to like it as much, or even if their reaction was good but they don't ever wear it. I myself make things that are often out there, so I'm completely, for me and my designs, I know that they're not that wearable. I don't even wear the stuff that I make myself that much. But traditionally, hand knitting is basics. You make basics that you want or you're supposed to wear every single day. They are very comfortable for everyday wear. So if the person is not wearing something that was made with them in mind, in general, the people might have felt, underappreciated. And because the knitting is such like an introspective, time-consuming project, understanding that that was underappreciated because it's so obvious, the amount of time that it takes and the wear that the person gets out of it might make the people like look inwards into the relationship and understand or realize other places in their relationship where they're feeling underappreciated. So yeah, even though I don't believe in the curse itself, I do think that it comes from somewhere, and that somewhere is just that gut realization that the person might not appreciate you as much. Knitting someone a sweater that takes so long and them not wearing it or not appreciating it is a very obvious example, and then that might be looked at in other parts of the relationship, and that's when knitting the person a sweater leads to breakup because you understand a lot about the relationship. Yeah, that's just how I always interpreted this quote-unquote curse. So yeah, I don't believe it. I see it a lot more as an urban legend, but that comes from somewhere. Back to the actual project, I actually knit all 4 panels, like big panels, in this one day. And I also had to do the final pieces, which were the placket and the collar. I went through some trials, but I ended up doing a folded over method for both. And yeah. Guys, good morning. I'm excited. So, I did not speak to you all yesterday, like directly, I don't think, but I did so much. I did the whole back panel, the 2 sleeves in this texture that is quite time consuming. And then I did the placket, so 2 plackets. I figured that out because I was thinking I was going to do it ribbed, and then it didn't make sense. So I just did it folded over. I joined the shoulders and I did the collar, which I'm actually quite proud of, but there's a little mistake. So basically I ran out of the sand colored yarn. Also the yarn snagged a little bit and I just saw it way further ahead and I just couldn't go back. I was so tired for this, but I ran out of the sand color yarn, so I had to go with the blue. So it's a two color. So the back is in the sand color and the front is in the dark blue. I went with the dark blue because it's the top color here. I think it looks good, honestly. I don't think it looks bad. I do think I could have gone a few rows bigger. Wednesday, I went to sleep so unmotivated. I looked at the panel when I finished it. First of all, it took me so long. And then it was so big. I just thought it's too insanely big. Like, I can do it. I felt so defeated. And then I woke up. Sometimes I have this. I wake up even though I went to sleep. I pretty much gave up on Wednesday. I was like, I'm not going to do this. It didn't work out. It's too big. I'll have to redo the front and then do the back, the sleeves. It's not going to work out. Sometimes this happens to me where I gave up. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep a little bit more since I went to sleep so late. And then I'll do something else that I have to do that day. But I couldn't sleep. I went to sleep at 3 a.m. and I woke up at 7 and I just couldn't sleep anymore. Even though I was tired, I had sleep to sleep. I couldn't. Sometimes when that happens, I just tell myself that it's because I know that I can do it. So you guys know I am often very bad with time management. I always leave stuff for the last minute and then I can't finish it. So I often know when to give up, when to stop for the day and then let the project be finished at another time. Sometimes my body just tells me, no, you can't do it. That's basically me not being able to sleep when I'm tired and I want to sleep. I just told myself I'm going to sleep and I couldn't. So I woke up very tired, didn't do makeup, just brushed my teeth barely. and went to the machine. And I had already started the back panel before I went to sleep. So I just went there and just did it. So yesterday was a very productive day. And you might be wondering, well, you did tell us that you have till Saturday to do this because he's leaving on Saturday, which is true. But as you can tell, I'm in a different place. I'm at his house and I went to hang out with him, obviously, because he's leaving for 3 months. And that's why I was rushing yesterday to finish all of the machine parts, see if I could finish the machine parts. So now I have to only assemble, like, sew everything shut, which does take long. And I kind of want this to be a surprise in a way. It's like I don't think he expects me to gift him a shirt or something before he travels, because he literally travels tomorrow. So I think it'll be a nice little surprise. So I told him that I was going to the gym and he is packing. So I want to stay here like around an hour-ish. I'll see what I can do in this hour and I'll figure out a way to sew this till tomorrow in a way that he doesn't see it. Or maybe I'll just let him know that I'm doing this and finish it in front of him. But it would be very nice if I could try to sneak in this sewing here and there so that he doesn't see it. But we spend all the time together, so I don't know. Hi guys, so I think I'm a horrible person online because I feel like I just ruined my video. I can't believe I just did it, but I was downstairs just kind of sewing the sleeves and I realized I don't want to spend all of this time away from my boyfriend who's going to travel in 2 days. So I brought everything up and I set up the camera. Você está sendo gravado.
Estou sendo gravado?
Tá. Peraí. Você é alto, né? Oh, amor, você é alto.
Sim. Eu posso pentear o cabelo, então?
Pode.
Deixa eu pentear.
And I gifted him the unfinished shirt that I'll be finishing right now, but here with him, so he'll see that I'm doing it. And I filmed it, or at least I thought I had, and it was so nice. I actually am a little bit glad that I didn't film it because it was such an emotional reaction that maybe it's just for us. Maybe that's life telling me just don't film your very intimate stuff, but it was very sweet and he is very happy about it. And I'll just be finishing it and I'll show you guys the final result. But yeah, you missed the actual visual reaction. He was so happy. I actually didn't expect him to be that emotional. We both cried because we're both very in a place that we're going to be away from each other in for 3 months. But yeah, I missed the reaction for the camera, so I'm not the best recording things. I'm such a bad content creator, but I'm actually glad that I decided to just show him now and just finish it here because it will take me a couple of hours to finish. So at least I'm just here with him and his mom and we'll be hanging out and I'll be finishing this in family. But I'm sorry that you'll be missing a reaction because it didn't film.
muito legal.
Mas ficou um pouco grande, né?
É, foi um pouco, sim. Eu acho que a manga tá gostando.
Você gostou? Ai, você acredita?
Tira um olho.
Vai, dá seu review. Oh my god, guys, very good, very amazing.
That's awesome. I really love it.
You love it, didn't you?
Yes, I love it. I feel very fashion.
Então vai aqui, dá uma viradinha. Deixa eu mostrar aqui. Pode voltar de frente. Deixa eu ter uns botõezinhos. Isso, é de ladinho. Yeah. Oh my god, very nice. Essa parte aqui está branca. Hi, congratulations, you made it to the end of the video, and I feel very proud because I was able to finish the project in the short time frame that I had set to myself. So I feel accomplished. Okay, that has not happened in a while, and I feel like that's a double-edged sword. Very happy that I finished the project. I feel very proud, especially because it's a little bit more complex of a project, so I feel very fulfilled in a way with my design. That's not what this project was about. I didn't plan on feeling fulfilled or anything, but I feel very fulfilled. I have not done something like this in a long time, and I was able to finish it in a short amount of time and actually, you know, finish it for what I wanted to, which was to give to my boyfriend before he traveled. So that I'm very happy about. But at the same time, I didn't give myself enough time and I was able to finish it. But at the same time, I don't want that ingrained in my head. Knit, crochet, even if the knit is done in the machine, are art forms that take time. And I need to have that in my mind instead of I can crunch it and I can finish fast, because it's not good for me. As you might have noticed, I've been posting very little, especially long videos on YouTube, because I just have been starting projects for like specific occasions with very little amount of time to do them, and I have not been finishing them, and then I feel frustrated, and I don't know if I want to finish it in time, like just to make a video to wear it somewhere else. And I've been like caught in this kind of trap that I set for myself, kind of self-sabotaging, and having this one win in the same way that I was kind of failing myself, it's not good for me. I feel like I need to give myself time to finish my projects, make projects that are not that like date specific, time specific, that I just can put time into it. As much as I'm very happy that I finished this in the time that I had to do it, I cannot use this as an example for my future projects. That being said, I'm so happy that I finished it, and he was so happy with it. He wore it to the airport. As I mentioned, he did go to the US, so he was going to fly that day, and he wore it to the airport. He even actually wore it in his first day of his job there, so that made me very happy. I didn't think he was gonna wear it to his first day of the job. He was like so worried about the kid. He was like, how should I wash it, like what should I do? And I was like, you can wash it by hand, leave it to dry flat, and don't put it on the hanger. It's going to be okay. And I feel very appreciated. I really don't think that the curse is going to affect me. I hope not. In terms of yarn, I did buy more yarn. As you saw, this is what I have left of the dark blue and the turquoise, and I didn't actually even open the lighter blue that I bought. So I used 3 skeins of the beige, 1.5 of this, 1.5 of this, and then 1 of the light blue, 1 of the mint, because I didn't end up using the light blue and the mint on the sleeve. I just decided that design wise that's what made sense, to make it almost follow where it was in relationship to the shirt. So I didn't choose to do the whole gradient for the sleeve. This is what happened. As you saw, the result is a little bit bigger than what I intended. It turned out a little bit big, especially the sleeves. Everything should have been a few stitches smaller and a little bit shorter, not too much. I don't feel like it's that long, but it could have been like 1 or 2 wave rolls smaller. The sleeves could have been a little bit shorter, and I could have narrowed them a little bit more when it comes to the cuff, so it's not too like bulky out. I'm very proud of the collar. I have done, I think, one collar once in the knitting machine, but it wasn't my pattern. I just used the person's pattern, so this was really nice for me to like kind of troubleshoot it myself and make it work. I did a few trial and errors for the placket. I first thought I was just going to do them separately. I even did the button version, but this is not good enough because it rolls in too much, so I did have to do the folded over version. I also thought of doing the ribbed version, but I wasn't in the mindset for that, and I feel like the folded over version worked really well. The collar wasn't the way that I designed it originally. I thought I was going to do the collar just in the beige color, but I didn't have enough. I didn't win chicken war this time. I lost, and I had just enough for half of the collar, but you have to fold it over. So I decided to use the navy blue because it was the color on top, like the where the gradient finished, it was on the navy blue. So I decided to use that for the other part of the collar, and I'm very pleased with that. I think that's a mistake that actually worked out for the best. If I was to redo this whole thing smaller, I would have done, like, I would do the color in that color scheme, so I feel like it worked out perfectly. I feel like I could have done the placket a little bit thinner as well, but I'm very, very glad. I'm very happy with the result. So yeah, that's what I had to talk about. And when it comes to like the design, the time that it took, the pattern, and the yarn, I'm very content, and he seemed very happy. And now I miss my boyfriend because he's in another country. I haven't really felt it yet because we often, like, we don't spend the week together because we're like medium distance, so we always see each other on the weekends. But this weekend that's coming, it's gonna be the first weekend ever since we met that we don't see each other in, and that's gonna be the same thing for the following few weekends. So I'm dreading that. I don't want that to happen. But anyway, this is it. Do comment down below whatever you want to say. If there's a part of the design that you want to know more about, I can tell you in the comments. Any doubts, anything you want to say about the design or the whole process, anything that you'd like to see me make, any type of knit or any other craft, crochet, DIY moment, I would love to know what you want to see from this channel. And yeah, just comment something down below because it helps me out. Consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will hopefully post something very, very soon. So yeah, I'll see you around. Bye bye.